learn math with a little grit and a lot of grace. Give it up for Patricia!
Something I'm always asking my students is, what's the first step? Today, I want us to think about what that first step is. The first step to good teaching. No, actually, the first step to great teaching. When we first start out, we are so in love with our profession. We walk around with limitless energy, fresh ideas, and we would do anything for our students, especially if it meant that they would be successful. Literally anything. And then we get burned. By students that take advantage of our kindness, the piles of late work that we now have to grade, the retests that we have to write for the students that didn't study the first time. And all of this takes so much of our time that we realize we need balance. So we start to look for ways to be more efficient. We try to focus on logistics of things so that we can get through the piles and piles of paperwork that are on our desk. We write elaborate policies on late work and retesting and extra credit to make things efficient. But let's pause for 1 second. All of that looks really great on paper, all those policies and procedures, until we factor in our students, who are human beings and can change the dynamic of our perfectly planned classroom. Our students look like Jacob, who's failing my class and has 40 missing assignments. And after meeting with his dad and realizing more about his home life where there's a lack of parental guidance, I was left with two options. Do I stand firm to my policies and procedures on late work? Or do I pave a clear path to success for Jacob by reducing the amount that he would have to do to a more manageable amount so he could be successful? Or Jackie, who has an IEP or an individualized education plan because she has difficulty processing information. By the time she gets to me, she's grown accustomed to teachers that just make everything easier for her and lay everything out step by step. I keep being told that math is just too hard for her. Do I accept that statement and continue this trend? Or do I raise her expectations and give her just the right ropes and support so that she can climb? Or Nick, who is in foster care. And he doesn't really engage in the lessons much because he knows that he isn't staying long. He's been moved from home to home more often than he can count, and he doesn't fit in with the other kids, and he has a record of bad behavior. His attitude tells me every day to please just leave me alone. And it's so easy to do that, but is another teacher that ignores him really what he needs? I think he needs a safe adult to show him a little love every day. Or our students can look like this. This is my little man, Robert, and before I know it, he's going to be a student in a classroom much like mine. And when we sent him to preschool, the teacher in me was ready to drill him about policy and procedure. And when I got there, I realized all I cared about was if his teachers would take good care of him, if they would be kind to him, if they would see how funny and creative my baby was. You see, that student sitting in your classroom has a mom or a dad or a somebody that loves them fiercely. That student is somebody's baby. And when I remember this, I try a little harder to be more prepared, to speak a little kinder, to be more engaging, to give a little more grace, to be more understanding, and to appreciate each student for who they are, especially for those students that maybe don't have a somebody. And you see, kids are smart. They can tell when a teacher isn't genuine or thinks that they can't do math. And there are teachers on every campus that are teaching life lessons by holding the line on things like grading policies and late work. But compassion is a necessary first step for student success. And students don't learn from teachers they don't like. You know those teachers, the ones that say, math is just too hard for them. She's a D student, tops. This student will never amount to anything. But let's be real. Math is hard for students at any level. So our first step in teaching them must be to believe in them. We must ensure that we are affirming our students in the way that we communicate with them. Say more things like this: I believe you can do this. Don't be embarrassed. Everyone is learning. And your best is enough. You are enough. So, before great curriculum, before effective collaborative structures and teamwork, and before we even get to problem 1-1, we must take that first step and believe in our students' capacity. Thank you.